Guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most popular forms of real estate in the Vancouver market that's only growing in popularity. And we're going to talk about how you can protect yourself if you are purchasing one of these types of homes. If you're wondering, we're talking about the duplex. Real quick, if this is your first time to the channel, my name's Hassan. I'm a real estate agent in Vancouver. I make these educational videos to help you in your real estate journey, as well as to help you make your move in the Vancouver area. If that sounds interesting to you, hit the like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss a future video. So before we get started on this video, I'm going to explain real quickly what a duplex is. A duplex essentially is two units side by side connected, either front or back or left and right side by side. The reason why it's such a popular unit in Vancouver is back in 2018, 99%, I want to say 95 to 99% of single family lots in the Vancouver area were rezoned to allow for duplex immediately. So a lot of the builders, they really like to build this product because the other option on many of these lots is to build, a single family, quote unquote, luxury home with a coach home in the back. But in slower markets, especially where we're at right now, sometimes that type of a product can carry more risk as it has a higher sale price, right? Where you're looking maybe in the 3 millions for something like that in today's market. Whereas a duplex, you're looking at, say, 1.5. So you're going to open yourself up to more buyers. There's a little bit less risk when you're building side by side or front back duplex. You still have economies of scale because you have all your workers working on the same site getting the project done. So because of this change in zoning, because of the escalating price of residential real estate, builders, a lot of builders, my clients as well, are looking for these types of duplex lots so they can build duplex. And it's a type of product that buyers like as well, because if they're priced out of single family homes, they do have another option where they're actually just sharing with one neighbor. So I mentioned off the top that there are some nuances with this type of a property. So number one, most duplexes in the Vancouver area are called non-conforming stratas. And strata is a word that basically is used with, for example, condos and townhomes. Those generally typically belong to a strata. Now, a duplex is also a strata, but it's non-conforming, meaning that there aren't annual meetings that you have with your neighbor. You don't necessarily have a budget with them. You don't have monthly meetings. So it's a non-conforming strata, meaning that there is a strata plan to the property per se, but you're not following, the rules and regulations. There's no set of bylaws, etc. So essentially when you're buying into a duplex, if you can picture the structure, you're sharing certain common area of the property with your neighbor. So for example, a roof, there's some common area maintenance that needs to happen, whether it's gardening or again, that roof, if you need to get it replaced or repaired, things like that. So it's really important when you purchase into a duplex, you realize that you are going to have to work in partnership, in conjunction with your neighbor, especially when it comes to these capital expenditures. Now, the nice thing about the duplex and the safe thing about the duplex is, generally speaking, your neighbor is not extremely likely to be an investor an investor, a lot of times, yes, they care about the upkeep of the property, but more so they're kind of caring about the cash flow and what sort of income, what sort of return they're receiving. So they may not be as enthused to get ahead of certain types of repairs, again, common area repairs that might need to happen. With this type of a product, because of its price tag, generally speaking, it is a family or an end user that lives in this property. Now, if I'm working with my clients, I want to know a little bit about that neighbor, about who's next door, how long they have lived there, are they a family, etc. So doing your due diligence when you're purchasing this property on who your neighbor is going to be is very, very important. It's really tough to do that in, for example, a condo perspective. What we do when we look at condos is we'll look at the documents and we'll see what sort of complaints are happening in general in that building. But when you're buying a duplex, you really want to get a line or try and get some info on who that neighbor is. You could, door knock that neighbor, talk to that neighbor, whatever you need to do your due diligence to see if you are going to mesh well, because again, you're going to need to work together with that neighbor. The other thing that I'm starting to recommend to clients as well that are looking at the duplex is consider running it like an actual strata. So have an annual meeting with your neighbor. Talk to your neighbor about actually setting aside a budget for certain capital expenditures. I think, whenever there's any sort of partnership, and I view duplex ownership as a light partnership, whenever things are in writing, it brings clarity and it makes things much simpler, and it's much easier to resolve conflict this way as well. So if you are moving into a duplex or you're looking into a duplex, have a meeting with your neighbor immediately. Suggest having some things put into writing and running it as a loose strata. You obviously don't need to have bylaws, etc., but having the meetings never hurts, and also it's neighborly to meet with your neighbor anyways. So guys, there's just some background information on the duplex product. There's still not a ton of them out there, but as I mentioned off the top, it's emerging in popularity on both the development side and on the buy side, but a lot of people don't realize, what are the nuances? What are the things that I have to think about before I purchase this piece of real estate? I read an article just recently about a dispute between two duplex owners in Vancouver. I'm going to link to it in the description box so you can take a look. But that's what inspired this video, because these types of disputes, unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of them if people don't approach duplex ownership as if they are purchasing into a strata with one other strata member as their neighbor. So I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, I'd love it if you could hit the like button and consider subscribing. What that does is it sends this video out to more people so they can learn from it as well. If you're in the Vancouver area and you're looking for any help with real estate, reach out to me direct. All my contact info is in the description box below. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.